I want to be known for my intelligence. I want to be known for what I can accomplish with my clothes on. That is my choice. If somebody wants to strategically approach something with their clothes off, that is their prerogative, and I support that and respect that. I'm not one to tell somebody what to do with their lives and how to make their money and how to pay their bills. But that being said, welcome back to the channel. This is a different type of video, you guys. It is Christine with Gauge Girl Training, and yesterday I made a post on Instagram, and this was my post. I'm gonna leave it back here just because it's probably might get banned on YouTube. I don't know how YouTube does it, but essentially it's a photo of Kim Kardashian, and I asked a question for my female followers. The question was, do you find it empowering or degrading when women of influence post photos like this? Why or why not? So I'm gonna talk about that in this video. So before I get going, I wanted to read some of the responses that I received on it, and shockingly enough, this was a post that had more comments than any other post I've ever done. It hasn't even been posted 24 hours, and it has up to 1,019 comments as we speak. And I wanted to read some of the comments to you guys. This is too much, especially when you accidentally look on IG messages at work and this pops up first. Somebody else says, it is empowering when you own and embrace your sexuality as an intricate part of who you are as a woman and human being. It is degrading, however, when sexualizing yourself is the only thermometer in which you gauge your self-worth. Somebody else says, this is a tough topic because both sides have very valid points, both of which I agree with. However, at the end of the day, regardless of your intent or how much money or fame you have, you're putting yourself up for consumption. Other responses say, I don't want my young daughters to think this is something they should do to be popular. Somebody else says, I don't care what she posts. She's not influencing me, but I will say, if people were more cultured and open-minded, it wouldn't matter and it wouldn't have a shock value. And it goes on and on and on. Everybody has an opinion about whether or not when women of influence post photos of themselves. And I wanted to ask my audience, which is actually 90% female and 10% male, both on Instagram and here on YouTube, just to qualify that so I don't have a high percentage of male followers. All that being said, you guys, I wanted to know what you thought. And I didn't post my opinion, and the purpose of this video is to shed light on some of my personal observations, some of my thoughts on this matter, because I personally feel very conflicted about things like this on a regular basis. So the first thing I wanted to say to you guys is that the purpose of that post was by no means to slut shame, degrade, talk trash, or do anything of the sort towards another woman. That is never, ever, 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 ever the motivation, ever. So let's just get that out of the way. Number two, I see social media, especially from celebrities as well as influencers, becoming extremely highly sexualized. And sometimes it feels like sex is the only thing that can get people's attention. And I occasionally do these little experiments where, I literally asked my boyfriend his opinion on this one picture because I felt like it was borderline if I should post it or not. And I'll actually show you guys. It was this photo right here. And I asked him what he thought. I'm like, should I post this? He's like, well, it's a thirst trap, but if you're gonna post it, just own it. And I posted this photo, and I posted something like working on that booty because it was literally a thirst trap. However, the question that I pose to you guys and I pose to myself is that empowering or is that degrading? And here's the thing, I see nothing wrong with nudity. I see nothing wrong with a woman owning her body, regardless of whatever she's had done to herself, that's her page. She can do whatever she wants with it. I do feel that our society and our culture has become so desensitized to the female form that it's really easy for people to look at women only in that one way. And while whether or not a celebrity or somebody popular posts things like that, that's not going to change that. But for me, it makes me feel weird. It makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. And here's why. I am somebody who, I pride myself in using my brain to make an income, to use my brain and intelligence to make an impact, not my body. Now, yes, I've posted bikini photos in the past, yes. I believe that they were tasteful, showing my journey, showing my health journey, but yes, I have posted more sexualized photos of myself, and unfortunately, that stuff it grabs attention. However, if I rewind and look at my career, as you guys know, I am a chemical engineer, and I used to work in corporate America. I worked for a Fortune 100 company, and having been the only woman in a lot of meetings, and not only being the only woman, being the youngest woman, I know for a fact that I would not be taken seriously by my male counterparts if I had dressed a certain way or conducted myself in a way that women currently portray themselves in the media. And I know that I would not be taken seriously as a professional in my field had I conducted myself in such a way. I didn't wear skin-tight clothing, didn't wear short skirts, didn't all those types of things. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a nun. I'm not saying you need to be a prude. I love style. I love embracing my body. I love embracing my sexuality. I do believe that there is a time and place for it, depending on what your career path is. And there are a lot of people who are realizing that they can make money on social media, and like it or not, guys, sex sells. I'm not saying I support that. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it. That's a fact. Sex sells. And it's such a strong, immutable human fact that is why people who showcase that get the most attention online. And perfect example, somebody was saying to me that, don't put women down. I'm not putting Kim Kardashian down. She could do whatever she wants. And I think she's probably one of the most beautiful females out there. Yes, she's had lots of plastic surgery, but nobody can deny that she is a beautiful woman. Now, is she a good businesswoman? There is no doubt that the results of her marketing yield the results of great business. However, if you look at the cost of that, she started her career with the launch of a sex tape. She started already off on a wealthy $4,000, and yes, she's marketed herself and done lots of things, but I think ultimately at the end of the day, it comes down to the individual with what they are comfortable with, what they want to be known for, and what type of impact you are willing to make. Now, that being said, I had an experience years ago, 5 years ago, where my cousin, she was dealing with an issue as a step parent, and her stepkids were 6 and 10 years old at the time, and they were finding porn on the phones, and this was 5-6 years ago. I can only imagine now what parents are dealing with. I do not have any kids. I have 2 puppies, but I don't have children. And I think that as a parent in this day and age, it has to be very scary trying to steer your children in the right path. And the reason I say that is because I'm afraid that a lot of women are doing this for attention and not necessarily as an intentional business move, if that makes sense. I feel like young women are seeing these role models and they're seeing, okay, wow, that's the way to get attention. That's the way to get boys to like you. I need to make my butt look like this. I need to make my lips look like this. I need to make my body look like this in order to be accepted and to be embraced and to be loved and to be accepted into society and deemed as worthy, all based off of the visual. And I personally struggle with that piece. If that's part of somebody's business and marketing strategy, that is their prerogative and their choice. And is that empowerment? I wouldn't say that's empowerment. I would say that's a strategic business move. Bottom line, it's a strategic business move. Call it what you want, but that's what it is. However, I really worry about the youth. People were saying on my post that, Christine, women should be about supporting one another and lifting each other up. Why are you bashing? I'm not bashing Kim Kardashian. I was using it as an example to get a conversation going, because it seems like our society rewards that. It rewards, it's like almost who can scream the loudest for attention. And no matter how hard sometimes some of us try to go about gaining attention, and attention that's what marketing is. That's how you get customers, that's how you get a business. But yet when I post deep, thoughtful strategies on nutrition, or I post a scientific video that probably took me years of college education to get the knowledge, and hours and hours and hours. I've had some videos, you guys, that I've probably taken at least 40 hours worth of time, no joke, 40 hours worth of time to write out, put the logic and the strategy behind it, and then to film it, and yada, 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 to only get 5,000 views, 10,000 views. However, when I post something in a bathing suit, I get more attention. Yet people say that we should support women's intelligence, but yet when I post things showcasing that, the reality is I don't feel that support. I don't feel that love. And yes, there are some of you who are my ride and die and you love me and support me, and I love you guys and I appreciate you. But the reality is society rewards those types of behaviors like I posted. It's just an immutable fact. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating for me because I want to be known for my intelligence. I want to be known for what I can accomplish with my clothes on. That is my choice. If somebody wants to strategically approach something with their clothes off, that is their prerogative, and I support that and respect that. I'm not one to tell somebody what to do with their lives and how to make their money and how to pay their bills. But that being said, because it is my choice to go about this in a different way, I find myself very frustrated. I find myself stuck quite often. Sometimes I don't know what the hell to post. I try to take nice photos. I try to do this. I try to do that. But the reality is society continues to reward that. And we keep following what they're doing. We keep following and rewarding them with our attention. So the question I pose back to you guys is, what now? You guys say that we want to empower women. We say we want to support one another. We say that we want to support when women think with their minds and use their minds, not their bodies. But then when I do that, how come I don't get 1,000 comments on a post like that? I'm asking you guys. Because as a content creator who wants to keep things a certain way, because it's my choice. So end of the day, what do I think? These are my observations. People are welcome to do what they want, and I respect people's choices. And I do think that there are times when showing more skin can be empowering. I definitely believe so. And not just because somebody's had plastic surgery. I think that we should never, ever, ever shame another human for whatever reason. I think we always want to have love and grace towards one another. And for some people, they may not know any other way, if that makes sense. So before we jump down people's throats, there are people who have bills to pay too. They may not know any other way. That may be what empowers them and what makes them feel good about themselves, and to each their own. But I'm saying, as somebody who intentionally chooses to go about it a different way, I know for damn sure I would never be taken seriously in my field in a male-dominated world of, when I say male-dominated world, I'm talking about my experience with corporate America, my experiences in the conference rooms, in the boardrooms, all the way back from my DuPont days to my days dealing with in the biotech field and talking to venture capitalists. I know that that's just not the way a woman should conduct themselves if they want to be taken seriously in a man's world. Now, before anyone, all the feminists get on me and say, what, it's a man's world, it's a no world, women can do whatever we want, own our sexuality. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. And that has never been my personal experience. And to people who experience different things, I've seen a lot of, I know a lot of women who are like that Samantha character on Sex and the City, the owning their own sexuality, going about things the way they choose to do so. And the people that I know that go about it that way, no matter how much we think that we're behaving like men, I personally don't believe that men value women the same way, and I do think that it degrades the way men look at women. That's my opinion, and that's how I feel based off of my experiences. It's not something I choose for myself. And I stand here conflicted by my observations. I stand here conflicted because the human body is beautiful. People have the prerogative to do what they want to do. But the question is, what standard are we setting for the youth? Do we want our little cousins and little sisters, and would you feel comfortable with whatever you post on social media or whatever kind of media? Would you feel comfortable with that being on a big screen TV, or physically standing that way in front of these people who are actually consuming that? You know, it doesn't just go out into the phone. You become like branded into somebody's mind. And I think that the extent of that is a whole lot more than what some of us may realize, at what type of images we're projecting into the world and how it's impacting men and women and children. It impacts all of us. And I come to you guys conflicted because it's a conversation I want to have. I would love your feedback on what types of content I should post, because it just seems like that's what gets rewarded. The quality stuff that I put out there versus and again, I'm comparing myself. I'm having my own little moment. And I'm making this about me because this is not about anybody else. This is about me. Why do we say we support one another, but then when I use content that supports women using their brain and mind, it's not rewarded in the same way? So that's my question to you guys. I would love your thoughts and input. Let's have a discussion here in the comments section. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.